Like and in are two keywords, two syntax options that you can use in your select statements that really give you a lot of power when it comes to looking for data and retrieving data from your database tables. So let's take a look at this. First of all, if I want to use the like keyword in a where clause, this is going to cause the where condition to match, not based on equal, not equal, that sort of thing, based on the entire contents of the column. We can match to a specified string pattern within that column. And T-SQL's wildcard characters make this really powerful. So think about this. The percent sign is the same as the asterisk in DOS, if you're familiar with that. So if I use the percent wildcard symbol, it means any string of 0 or more characters. The underscore is the same as the question mark in MS-DOS, if that helps you, but the underscore takes the place of any single character. And brackets, the square brackets, are any single character within the specified range or set. Now, I don't expect this to make any sense to you, so we will talk about this in just a few minutes, and I'll show it to you in code. But we're talking about things like ranges A through F, or the letters A or B or D or F, that sort of thing. And then the caret, anytime inside those brackets, just simply means not A through F. Now, if I use the keyword in with the where clause, this determines whether a specified value matches any value in a subquery or a list. For example, I can do a search where last name is in the list of Russell, Ryan, or Diaz. So anytime the last name is there, and I could write this as last name equals Russell, or last name equals Ryan, or last name equals Diaz. It's the same thing, but it's a little easier to write. It's a lot easier to read. So let's go take a look at some examples on these things. Jump out into the Management Studio, kick off a new query, and we're going to pull these from the person.person. So I'm going to start off with a select first name, just like we've been doing, make it real simple. If you can understand it simple, then you can go pretty quickly to exactly what you need. And once you get a grasp on it, it's just much, much easier to go somewhere with it. So, hadn't talked about literals a whole lot, but notice we're saying where last name equals Walters. And since this is text, we'll delimit it with the single quotes, and it's going to go find it. Notice all my red squiggly lines and saying invalid columns. It's because I'm not connected to the correct database here. So now I will execute this command, and you'll notice I got where the last name is Walters. I just got Rob Walters. Well, let's try this a little bit differently. Instead of saying last name equals, all right, let's change that to, and I'm going to put it in all caps so that you'll notice it, like. And I'm going to put a little magic here, and I'm going to use, let's just say we'll put a percent sign there. This means W and anything after that. This means all the last names that begin with W. So I'll execute this and watch it comes back, and notice we've got 1,075. This is all the last names, if you see as I scroll down, that begin with W. Pretty cool stuff, right? Let's make it a little more complicated. If I scroll somewhere down here, let's see, might be right in here somewhere. We have a guy named Waxman, I think. Yes, there he is. Okay. Well, if we wanted to find him, notice W underscore X and then anything after that. Okay. So we're looking for W, any letter, X, and anything after that. So if I execute that, there's Waxman. Notice the match up there. Now, let's use the brackets. So inside my literals, I'm going to leave my literals there. I'll open the square brackets and say ADR, close the square brackets, and then put my percent sign. Now, what this is saying is select the first name and last name from person table where the last name starts with or is like A or D or R, and any letters after that. So I'll execute that. Notice last name, there's the A's. Scroll on down a little bit. There's some D's. There's all the D's. And there's the R's. Pretty cool stuff, right? You can see you really have some power here. Now let's change this up just a little bit. Let's say A through F. And I'll highlight it so you can see it. I don't have to highlight here because it's the only query there. But I'll highlight so that you can see I'm running that query. And now we've got A, B, C, D, E's, and F's. There was my E's. I flew past them. So A through F right here said to get the whole range there, right? So that's pretty cool stuff. We can pull based on ranges, or I could say, you know what? Not A through F. And that's right above the 6. Shift and hit the 6, the number key, and you can get that little caret. Now execute, and notice I didn't get A through F. It starts at G, and it goes all the way to the end. Pretty cool stuff, right? Now let's do one N before I leave you here in this one. So I'll take like and I'll just change it to N. And now we're going to do it just a little bit different. We're going to open parentheses and we'll look for Russell. Close that. Ryan. Close that. Open a new one. Diaz. Okay. And technically I should be putting my semicolon at the end. I still cannot get used to that. So let's execute that. And notice I got all the Diaz. And as I scroll down, you'll notice there's Russell, and at the very bottom, there's Ryan. Now, I didn't get them in the order you might think here. Why? I did not use an order by, okay? And also, this is not going to affect necessarily how they're returned, okay? So this is how to use like and in. Play with these wildcards. You can do some really, really cool stuff with these things, but you can really dig through some data pretty quickly in a pretty large database by using like, in, and wildcards.